realize at the time that she would meet what I have found is one of the greatest leaders I have ever seen. And it had a profound impact on my business. It's had a profound impact on how we train people. And so I want to share with you today how to solve the problem that we all deal with. How many of you all have millennials working for you? How many of you are millennials? I'm going to change some misnomers about the millennials, because all the things that we have heard about this generation that we all have to train, what have we heard about? Oh, it's all about me. They're entitled. They don't like to work. They don't want to come on time. They don't want to dress in uniform. They're lazy. They're lazy. This actually happened to me the other day. Just to give you a brief side, if I spend about a third of my time speaking and consulting, I do a lot of stuff on service and recruitment and retention, but I also own 7 Which sandwich locations. So when I'm not actually out doing these kind of things, I'm running my own restaurants. We went from 2 restaurants to 10 restaurants right about the time my daughter went to band camp. And we had to gear up. And I learned so many things over the years. One of the things I've seen is not every millennial fits into the box that we put them into. A few of them do, however. I had an orientation in my restaurant a few weeks ago. 9 o'clock. Kid doesn't roll in. 9:30, I hear a knock on the front door. I said, hey, what are you here for? He said, I'm here for orientation. So what time did orientation start? 9 o'clock. I said, what time is it? It's just 9:30. I said, sorry, you don't work for us. And this is literally what he did to me as he walked out the door. So there are a few still out there that kind of fall into that misnomer. But I learned what to do and how to train people by watching my daughter go to band camp. Now, if you've never seen high school marching band, she went out there in July with 300 other high school ding-dongs, millennials, that are too lazy, that don't want to follow a system, that don't want to follow rules, that don't want to dress up in uniform. And I would go there because I was lucky. I was around a lot at the time, and so I would take her to band camp, and I watched over the course of 10 weeks the band go from 300 high school ding-dongs to putting on an amazing show. And so I spent a few years talking to this band director because I learned so much from her. Her name's Amanda Drinkwater. Their high school band won the state 5A or 6A competition, which is the largest school classification in data, Texas, 5 times in a row. Now, band's only every other year there, but she has 25% turnover. A quarter of those kids graduate every year, so you get a quarter of the new people coming in. And how do you achieve that greatness? When you watch them on camera, you see the high school band of 300 kids can do something amazing like this. The generation is not the issue. It's not the millennials that are the problem. It's those of us that are trying to manage them that don't know how to leverage their talent. And so some of the things I learned at band camp, when you see this, I mean, the parents are, it's amazing to see what somebody can do. Now there's my daughter 4 years later when she was the drum major as a senior in high school. And here's the things that I've learned, what I believe you can take from what I learned at band camp and bring these into your business. You have to have a vision. In their case, it's the show. In our case, we all have those kind of statements. In my business, it's make the guests say, wow. You heard a ton of it from Simon earlier today. We have to have this vision. We have to have a culture of excellence. I have never seen a person be more demanding and more exacting of kids that supposedly don't want to thrive in an environment like that. They are unrelenting about perfection. Any of you all have seen me speak before, Pal Sudden Service, K&N Management in Austin, Texas, those Rudy's and Mighty Fine Tours. There are companies that are doing this already together. You've got to hire the right people, but also, when I say selection, it's you've got to select the right leaders that are handling this. In this case, in band, they have section leaders and drum majors. They spend so much time developing the leaders. I always say train the people that train the people. You want to magnify your impact in your organization? Train the people that train the people. Bad managers will kill a culture. Bad managers will kill everything that you're trying to do. The training that they do is unreal, and I'll share a little bit with it in a second. They train so long, and they practice and they practice and they practice. We train people until they get it right. They train people until they can't get it wrong. Too often our training is just short, front-loaded. They train until they can't get it wrong. They give feedback in an amazing way that I learned a ton from. And they have an unbelievable support system. So in this case, here's the Marcus Band. There's millions of high school bands I've seen as a business owner that feeds a lot of these bands through my restaurants. In my daughter's band, we got an email as a parent in the middle of July that says, here's the 10 meals that you will be getting. This week it's from McAllister's, this week it's from Witchwick's, this week it's from Chick-fil-A or whoever it is. In the middle of July. I own 7 Witchwick's. I get calls on Wednesdays some weeks in the middle of September going, hey, can you feed 300 people this Friday night? And I'm thinking back to myself, now I know why this band is awesome and that one's not. Because they have not trained, they don't have the proper leaders in place. So you have to have the vision. You have to select the right people. In their case, it starts early in life at 6th grade. They're already grooming these kids to fit in. And I know we can't do that in our world, but we have to select the right leaders. Because if we don't select the right leaders, this is what we get. The section leaders, you have to break these things down into small groups. And they do a phenomenal job with mentors. Just like you heard earlier today, they break it up into small categories. Their training materials are unreal. How many of y'all were ever in high school band? What is this up here? It's a drill book. It's a drill book. Now, this is the old school method of drill books. This is the new school method of drill books. They're all on an iPad. It maps out every single step that they have to do. And if you think about it in our world, do we have our training materials that specific? Do we have everything mapped out, or do we leave it up to chance? If we want to create consistency, we have to map it out. They have to train technical aspects. They have to train show aspects. We have to train technical things in our jobs, whether we're on the hotel side or on the restaurant side. And then we have to train the hospitality and the flair piece. They have an unbelievable feedback system. The best quote I ever heard this lady, Amanda Drinkwater, the band director, say was this. She had a parent meeting early on with all of us. Said, look, we're the Marcus Band. We've won state 3 years in a row. Everybody is jealous of us. They're going to try and beat us down. They're going to try and degrade us. And she says, every single band that performs, when you're there watching parents, you will stand up and give them a standing ovation. Because those kids that are in all the other bands are trying their hardest. They're putting in the same amount of work your kids are. And I'll tell you one thing, and you should remember this, and I have to this day. She says, when you have class, it shows, and when you don't, it screams. When you have class, it shows, and when you don't, it screams. They give feedback to these kids non-stop. They're telling, oh, she does it in such a way, it's amazing. But it's constant feedback. They practice until they can't get it wrong. They do 20 seconds of a song and just get it so good, then they add another 10 seconds. Pals does this with burger. You make one hamburger until you can make it so well, you can kind of jump onto their moving train that does 200 cars an hour through their drive. We have to make sure as trainers we have the system set up so our people can't get it wrong. Then there's a big support system behind it, no different than if we're training people in the front of the house, there's people in the back of the house that are taking care of those things. They have parents that are doing all the hard work and moving all the drum machine, the percussion and those kind of things. You have to have this great support system because everybody has to be accountable. I heard something on this morning. It said accountability only works if it appeals to everybody. Everybody has to be doing this. Otherwise, it doesn't work. How many of our GMs try and hold people accountable and won't hold themselves accountable? They have to all fit into the vision because when you do it right, this is the Ohio State Band. Watch the amazing things that these college kids can do. In a few minutes, I sped it up just so we could get this thing done. It is amazing the shows that they can put on. Wow. It's crazy. They have a week to learn that. 1 week. You don't think this generation can do what we want them to do? They sure can. Make sure we have that clear vision and communicate. Make sure we're developing the people that develop the people. Look at your training materials. Make sure they're precise. Make sure you've got everything spelled out. God, make sure everybody's got a performance. Every shift is a performance. So, my last thing, I'm going to leave you guys. Everybody just kind of lean in. I'm going to give you the magic bullet here. Everybody just lean in. All right? Actually, there is no one thing I learned at band camp, but when you fill out the chart survey, you can say, TJ had me on the edge of my seat. All right. Thank you.